Hey everyone, it's your girl Sin and welcome back. I'm here today to talk about change management, or you might hear the term change leadership. So really quick before we jump into the video, I want to say thank you so much if you are returning. And if this is your first time stumbling upon my channel, well hello. Here we talk about lifestyle, travel, and we have a whole little segment on IO. Really, my mission is to just be a friend. I want to be a friend for you, so if you have any questions, you could always slide into the DMs or comment down below and I'll try to get back to you ASAP. Let's get back to today's IO video. So if you're looking to join a IO program, you're most likely going to take a class that involves organizational change or change management, change leadership, all the above. Don't forget that a manager has to do more so with strategizing and budgeting and controlling, whereas a leader, which all what we are striving to be, is somebody who is a visionary, who is going to help other people understand their reason to why they want to make a change, really feel their passion and see that vision for a better future. I know that a lot of my underlying stress before taking this class had to do with the word change in general, and I've mentioned many times that people just don't like change. They're creatures of habits. So when you go in there and you change something, people are not going to be on board right away. Most change efforts kind of fall through the cracks. They're not as successful as they are meant to be. Just because that was true in the past doesn't mean that it needs to be the truth for the future. So that's why we're here today. Take this course. When you're done with the course, you're going to be so much more confident in leading change in a different way than you were before. Now when I get asked questions about change initiatives and change efforts, I feel so much more confident in answering them because in my mind I know how to organize myself. I know how to build this vision and this image and what is required to make it successful. So if you're trying to be a consultant or considering possibly going down that career path in the future, be extra vigilant during this course because it's most likely something that you're going to have to do in the future. With a quick Google or Amazon search, you're going to see that there's tons of material out there. Make sure you stay focused and look at those that are evidence-based, but go ham. But the one that we focused on in my program and that we discussed together was John B. Kotter's 8-step process. So who's John B. Kotter? He's a best-selling author, thought leader, and Harvard business professor who studies this stuff. So we read his book, Leading Change. Yes, the one with the penguins on the cover. And it takes us through the 8-step process. So he goes into a further explanation of these steps that are required, that are suggested to be made in order to create change within an organization. There's so many good videos out here on YouTube already on his 8-step process, so I recommend you check those out. But really quickly, going through these 8 steps, 1 through 4 really has to do with building the sense of urgency and creating that crisis matter. And when I say crisis, it doesn't mean something that is terrible or just completely wrong. It just means you have to have passion with the change that you're trying to make. Somebody who's a great storyteller and that others can vividly imagine the world that you're trying to create. And it also has to do a lot with communication. What are you doing to be the expert within that role or with that change? During the beginning phase, it's also important to consider the potential opportunity. Why is it that we're doing this? How is it going to help other people get on board to what you believe in? Steps 5 through 7 have to do with the steps of how this new method is going to be introduced to others. It's important to be clear, motivated, and to consider that there's a learning process. So feedback loop is important. And step number 8 is making sure that this change is something that is incorporated in part of the company culture. Especially in a day and age like today, there's so much change. Being constant is just only going to set us back. We live in such a fast-paced world. It's so important that we remain innovative, adaptable to any change that's going to happen. That's something that makes me excited about learning and being able to understand this, is that we get to be the reason for those changes and for the ability for others to not be so stressed. I was recently asked at my job to come up with an initiative of change that I would implement if I could. And of course, in the beginning, when you get asked this question, it's overwhelming. You're just like, where am I going to begin? But with the use of Kotter's 8-step process, you're able to organize yourself a lot better. You're able to put everything on paper. You can create a PowerPoint and you can present this to other people. And again, maybe his method in particular isn't one that resonates with you. There's other ones out there. You're going to notice that there's a lot of overlapping themes. I mentioned before is feedback loop. It's super important to gain feedback from the people that are going through the change. Just a little friendly reminder that this is not the best and only method you should use. I definitely encourage you to do extra reading and extra research. Make yourself that much more knowledgeable within this subject by going out there and seeing what else is applicable. Take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. And of course, look to see what others are using, what has worked, what hasn't. That's science-based. So another book that I recommend you read is Laszlo Bock's Work Rules, Insights from Inside Google That Will Transform How You Live and Lead. At the time that he wrote this book, he was working in Google as part of the Innovative Operation Officer. And in the text, he shares different ways that he helped shape the corporate culture. One of the things that really stuck out to me the most when I read the book was learning about Google's rigorous hiring process. Now, I'm not saying go and copy Google, not at all. But what I'm saying is you need to learn and see what other businesses are doing. Maybe practices that could work in their organization could work for yours. There's so many other examples that I can share, but I encourage you to read it. I think it is a very good read. And this is a side note, but he liked my comment on LinkedIn and I fangirled when he did. So what do you think? Is this something that excites you? Do you feel like you could be somebody who leads change? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much again for checking in, and stay safe and healthy, and I will see you guys in the next vid.